All right. Hey, welcome everybody to day 5 of the challenge, Rise from Silence. The most powerful thing you can do, fellas, is tell the truth, right? And I always like to start every day the same way, but just to make sure you know you're in the right spot. If you happen to be starting with me, if you hop on later, then you'll just have to go back to the beginning, just to make sure you're in the right spot, right? And let's be honest with ourselves for a second. I wrote this for you, but I'm gonna include myself in this. So let's be honest for a reason. But just for a moment, when the conversations, right, when the conversations get real at home and you choose not to fight it, you choose not to speak up, you choose to go silent. And somewhere along the journey, stay with me, somewhere along the journey of life, right? When this happens, you're engaging with the woman that you love, your wife, your spouse, or your soon-to-be wife, or your dedicated relationship, and you're going through this process, and you've decided that you're not going to argue, you're not going to raise your voice, you're just going to go silent, and you believe that that was a strength, right? And then so you go into that. But here's the thing, man. That's the most expensive habit that costs us the most, right? Costs me the most. And ultimately, at the end of the day, man, it's going to cost you the very relationship that you so-called claim to want to have. The one that you really can if you lean into it. But I chose to go silent, to use that as an excuse, to justify not engaging when really there was some other stuff going on, right? Listen, I know because they called me the comeback king, and called me the comeback king, and I've spoken, raised companies, developed businesses, spoke and reached people all across the world, and at the end of the day, though, when I got home, and when it mattered most, when the opportunity to lean in rather than lean back, the opportunity to raise my hand and ask for some help around this whole area of true authenticity and vulnerability and leaning into a relationship, I chose to take the silent treatment. Use that as the reason why, right? Man, and the worst time when I was, my first marriage, it was some things were happening, it was slowly coming apart, and my business, right, standing in and building a business, keeping a business afloat, my first baby after leaving corporate America after 20 years, right, and built this thing, and it was growing, and all of a sudden overnight it goes away, and just that, and then, just the crazy things about health. So I know the impact of having everything together on the outside, and when things start falling apart, it just magnifies the inability that I had to communicate and reach out. So I just want to share that with you to let you know that you're in the right spot. And, I'm not a therapist. I'm just an earned learner of life, just like many of you have. And I found some things out that helped me get to the other side. And the mirror moment is something you're going to hear about, and you talked about it all week long. But I just wanted to start out to let you folks know, fellas, that I know that I belong here and you belong here. If this resonates with you, and stop in. Hey, Tiffany, thanks for stopping in, and I appreciate that. And we're going to really talk today because this is day 5, the end of a 5-day challenge. And everything stepped on top of one another so we could get to the end of the day here, right? So all I ask is you allow me just to speak to you from my heart. I may step on a few toes. It is intentional. I'm not going to say it's not, because somebody needs to say what I'm about to say. Somebody needs to out loud. The fellas, we've been told a lie. We've been living a lie around the fact that it's okay. It's strength in going silent. It's strength in keeping everything to ourselves. There's strength in, hiding behind some unresolved issues. That's the real facts. That's the Jeff part of it. That's what's really happening. But I'm just strength behind this behavior, man. I'm here to tell you it is not. And I know I'm not the only one that's telling you that. I know that's what she's telling you in the relationships at home. So we lead with strength when it's comfortable. But listen, man, this conversation is not a comfortable conversation to have, but it's a necessary one, right? So anyway, welcome to day 5. I just wanted to set the framework up and just let you know, man, that it can get better. right? That first marriage, it ended in divorce. And, I've spent some time working on myself in this space, particularly and around communication, and realizing, man, how much work I really needed. And I thought I was doing okay, but man, it's a level of depth. And when you get into the true authenticity, when I can show up here today and tell y'all that I screwed up and I went out and blew up a marriage and that I thought would last forever and all the other things around that, it's not for old poor me, but it's just to let you know that I know I ain't the only one, and you can get some freedom here. This is a safe space, right? Safe space. So just to review, day one, when pain becomes an excuse, really just kind of laying out the whole principle around what the real issue was. We would say, she said something that triggered something, made us behave a certain way, but we finally learned that we needed to own our own role in that piece of it and really get back to what's really happening, get deep down inside as to why it's happening, right? Because it's some unresolved feelings, and that little boy is still waiting for us to go back and release him from all the other crap that we piled on top of him. That's day one, right? When pain becomes an excuse. And then day two, we set it up because then we looked at silence and what the real deal was, how silence really served us. Listen, I'll be the first to say sometimes silence is exercise in wisdom. And I say that still today because, you don't want to open your mouth, fellas, and put your foot in your mouth when you should be breathing through something and not reacting, but learning how to respond to something. So there's some level of truth around wisdom for both sides of the table, women and men. But the other side of it is just when it's been used as I said before, a crutch. You've justified the behavior and why you do it. Right? All that stuff. So learning how to recognize it, which one is really being played, and then the one that's hiding behind the fear, you really start to tie it back to that little boy that you still ain't healed yet, right? And you say it doesn't matter. You say it does. You'll be all right. That's been the past, and I don't have to deal with it. No, you do. If you want your situation to change, if you want to learn how to lean in, you need to, right? So that was day two. Day three was really about stopping the blame and learning how to lead, right? Stopping the blame, stop blaming her, right? And part of leadership is owning who you are, owning your pros and your cons about who you are and why you need to be a certain way and all that stuff, right? So day three, stop blaming. And then the fourth day, we took that and we, teach you how to say the hard things in day four, right? Hard things. Hey, I don't really know how to show up vulnerably. I've tried before and I got my feelings hurt. I don't like to get my feelings hurt. So I'm going to act like it doesn't matter and I'm behaving in a childish way because that's just my choices. Hey, I told you guys, this is an adult conversation. There's no criticism, but those are just the behaviors. If something stings a little bit, probably meant to. But on day four, we talked about vulnerability, right? And it's the discipline truth, baby. You got to work at it. You can't hide. There's no faking vulnerability, man. You're either in that space or you're not. But the discipline behind that. And then asking each day, a little homework was assigned to do these things. So on day four, we're talking about what was the homework there? Writing down the times when you know you were reacting, and write down the times when you knew you were executing wisdom. Write down the times when you knew you were accepting the responsibilities, and the other time when you were blaming. Just kind of giving yourself some own examples, and then each day looking in the mirror, taking that moment each day and resetting yourself. Today I'm going to remember about no excuses. Today I'm going to remember how, right? Am I being wise about my silence or not? And then I'm not going to blame. So you start to rechart your days, tracking your behaviors, man, because we've got to disrupt that pattern, baby. You guys know about pattern disruption, right? That's what runs us most of the time, 24/7. I just want to just throw a little wrench in the process, right? Throw a little wrench and say, hey, look, if you take this time for yourself and for her, right? I said yourself first because listen, nothing really changes until you understand the power and the importance of self-love for yourself. And self-love comes with some real work to get to the piece where you can accept that you ain't got it all figured out. You can accept that the behaviors that you've been using that stem from something else, some unresolved issues that you said you would take to the grave, that you said doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't affect you. All that stuff that happens. And we had a great time yesterday with Coach Jerry, and we talked about all of those different things and in and around the vulnerability, in and around humility, in and around. I think he had something, Taz. I don't want to mess it up. It's around authenticity and generosity and truth, and just really powerful journey. So I think day 4 replay is still out there. So go back and check that one out. That was a little special bonus with a guest speaker. This man has spoken all over the world, authors, has been through John Maxwell's high-level trainings, and it's helped thousands of people. So go back and check out day 4, right? I mean, that was just extra bonus for you to do that. So today, today we kind of wrap it all up and give you a final piece to take home with you. Where do I have it here so that I don't mess you guys up? This time now, the whole idea behind today 5 is really kind of putting something together. Let me see if I have it for you here. Today, we want you to pick something that you know that she's been wanting you to share. You've had something this week recently or something in the past, something in between that you really know you owe her a repeat conversation, right? That one subject matter and real simple that you take it and you go back to her with a real simple, hey, if we are able to talk today, this weekend, I have something blank that I've been keeping from you because blank. And now I'm taking the responsibilities. 3 blanks. Can you help me? It's a real simple question. Can you help me create the environment that's I feel most comfortable with to the best of your ability? We need to ask for the help. We need to create the framework around why you want to have the conversation. And we want to be as honest in our own depth and our own personalities as to how we deliver that and how we make that ask. Right? Pick something. I know we all have something, man. And at the end of the day, make sure the timing is right. And listen, ladies, I'm asking you to the best of your abilities, because it may be something that you've been trying to get some resolution for a long time, and legitimately so you probably don't. You're ready to hit him upside the head anyway. Right? I'm gonna keep it real with you. I know we can be stubborn and frustrating, and you love us, but then you wonder why that takes you so blank long to figure this out. Right? I'm showing up. I've done the things that you've asked me to do, and yes, even if you've blown up a couple different times, Adam, because man, we're big babies, right? All we really want to know is that you respect us first and foremost in all our tailored ways. Right? And then if you love us, that's a big bonus. But man, that you look at your man as the guy, as respect. That's the magic piece, man. And I know sometimes we do things that makes it super hard for you to respect us. And then we want you to respect us, and we act a damn fool around stuff. I get it. This is an exercise in growth practices, man. Right? We ain't gonna get this right overnight, but we can get it right over time. And time, it takes practice. So it's joint conversation that needs to happen, and you guys talk about it, and you sit down and you go through the exercise. And if you need the other steps that we had from the 4 days, just DM me. Hey, Jeff, send me what those were, and I'll be glad to send those over to you. And know this though. You took the first step this week towards something that's different, towards something that's going to require a bunch of effort, man. Some patience, some surrender, some accountability. I mean, you can just put a tag to a lot of different things on both sides, hers and his, right? Because it takes both of y'all to make this thing work. But I know it works, right? And the mirror moment exercise is just as simple. And that's why at Comeback King Enterprises, we are so excited about the mission that we are on to impact 10 million lives in this process with y'all's help, right? To be the examples that are willing to try something that seems so simple, something that is not sophisticated, but something that is really just designed for us to take our own private time, something that we could build together when we're going through that mirror moment exercise. When you're in the mirror and you're like, oh man, today's the day the Lord has planned. I will rejoice and be glad in it. However you reset your day, right? And you've already got a plan. If it's just, I'm going to not make excuses about my behaviors. I'm going to accept the responsibilities and be wise when it comes to my communication. I'm going to be diligent and not blaming and taking responsibilities as a leader. Then I'm going to be vulnerable and I'm going to take steps to be disciplined around my behavior. And I'm going to make mistakes in all those areas. You're going to make mistakes, but you're going to continue to show up with the discipline. And then you're going to just kind of journey out something special for her. This is something that I've been meaning to respond back to you on because I've ignored you for so long. Ooh, we got a bunch of those. I know you got a bunch of them. Put one in the comments. Let me see one. If anybody's coming in later on and drop something in, I know this is kind of a private message, and I hesitate sometimes to talk about where you've come from and all that other stuff. So if you're in that space and you're like, man, Jeff, I'm uncomfortable putting my name out there. If you're that person, then just send me a DM and let's communicate, because we are standing in this messaging. Because with Tiffany Colvin, we've talked about autism and how that impacts the marriages and how that percentage of marriages with autism and divorce is higher, right, than the average divorce, and all those things go around that. So, man, we are committed to standing in this space, fellas, and leadership is tied to this. Because at the end of the day, you're going to, if this piece that we've been talking about all week doesn't line up with the rest of you, there's always going to be an edge that you're missing. It's just an elevation of transparency that people will see. People will feel the empathy from you. You will become a better, more powerful, more appreciated, more connected leader in everything that you're doing. Business owner, employee, community servant, wherever you fit. This piece is necessary. This piece we've been talking about all along with Ultimate deals with working on the old things that you haven't really resolved, right? Getting honest about the feelings and the emotions that you've been carrying along, and you put it on a mask of success. You put on the mask of invincibility. You put on the mask of all these things, man. And I wore that mask for years. I was the master mask wearing. I was going to say a bad word. Boy, I got to watch myself. Anyway, put it in there. What kind of mask are you feeling? Ladies, what kind of mask, if you're in here, what kind of mask do you see your man put on? Right? And you know they've hit their mask. You know there's something else behind it, but he's not able to show up. Cut him some slack, but don't cut him too much slack. Fellas, cut her some slack and don't cut her too much slack. Right? Because our whole mission is for y'all to kind of line up and reset. Because there is no greater need than right now in a world as crazy as that we live in to have relationships that matter. Right? The relationships that are full of love and joy and truth, right? Where we are lining up. I mean, my wife and I, as I mentioned, after my first marriage, got divorced and been in a relationship for 20 years with her, and man, and it was painful, right? And got into some work again on myself and direction and some reflection and all that stuff. And then God blessed me with an amazing woman who is just surprises me every day. And we'll be 15 years into a new marriage, man. So you can reset if you want to, if you've had to. I'm trying to talk to y'all from getting to that point where you have to reset. Woo, man, because I had chances to do that. I couldn't. I chose not to. That's the truth. I'm not proud of it, but it was a choice. We make choices whether we admit them or not. So what choices are you going to make moving forward? What choices are you going to do come next Monday, 3 or 4 days from now? If you've been listening to this at all, right, you need to hear me when I say this part. It's easy to say, yeah, I'm going to do it, and you put some effort into some things, and then you try it, and it blows up in your face, and then automatically that old person is right, because it doesn't really leave, right? He's still hiding behind stuff. He's still there. So what are you going to do come a week from now without some support? So I want to, as we kind of come to the point where I think I've covered everything I want, I'm looking at my notes as I'm talking to you. What is it that would be a benefit to you? I'm asking you, those of you who've seen me, those of you thinking about, man, I'd like to get to know Jeff a little bit more. Those of you who have some questions about where you are and whether or not this guy that's been talking to you all week has any value and it can help you. What is it that you're thinking about? I'm going to put it out there for, man, how many, man, 5 people, 5 guys or ladies, if you have something you want to have a conversation, I want to put out an opportunity for 5 folks to reach out to me. I don't know if I have my calendar link in the comment section or not, but if you're hearing this message and you've been following me in and out, and you really understand that, hey man, this is the possibility to change, to reset, right? That mirror moment exercise can change my life. If you're saying, I'm sick and tired of giving her what's left. I give everybody else the best and I give her what's left. I mean, we got a subject around that with kids and parenting, right? You give the world your best and give your kids what's left. Come on, man. If that's you, if you're really interested in doing that, because it's the month of July, we'll put some other things we're coming out with, and a leadership program in the middle of July with King Enterprises and some powerful speakers. So if you are just out there and you're like, man, I really just need somebody to help me sort through some things, and then maybe we can offer something that fits into what you're looking for and what you need and how we can help you long term, because you don't have to take this journey alone. When I decided to stop on journeying through this recovery process by myself, man, I had tremendous results. Accountability to myself and then someone else, right? But I had accountability to someone else until I could have it with myself. I had so much shame and guilt around the first marriage ending like it did. It was painful. I had a lot of pain around the people that I had hurt, man. Because people would look at us and think we would be together forever. So there was a lot of healing in the process. And if you can't heal what you don't reveal, baby. And in order to heal, you got to peel. Right? In order to heal, you got to peel. You got to be willing to peel. You got to have some guidance around. I had to have some guidance around the peeling. But man, I am so grateful today, because when I'm speaking to you about the recovery process and getting on the other side, right, and practicing vulnerability, man. Look, I could just, when was it? A few days ago, man, I'm going to probably just share this and then kind of back on up out of here, right? But a few days ago, man, just dealing with my wife, right? And we were saying something and she hit a nerve. She didn't do it intentionally, but it just how I received it. And I wanted to play this quiet, silent game. I wanted to be all that. And she said, so what, she said, you're going to get quiet now and not talk about it and apologize tomorrow? Man, come on, y'all. I'm telling you, this stuff is lifelong process, right? And I tell you that to tell you that this stuff still exists in my life, right? But I've learned some things. I've learned to say, hey, I have this feeling. I don't know how to explain it. but I want to try have you help me explain it. It's just me going into this because and I'm worried that I might get the answer I don't want to have or hit it the wrong way. And she does a great job, just kind of allowing me to be this cat that really just needs some help. So anyway, for whatever that's worth, it's a real thing, baby, in my life today, and it will continue to be, and it's going to continue to be in yours. It's going to continue to cause you grief and her grief if you don't do something different. And you can say whatever you want, but I'm going to tell you, like I said earlier, we've been lied to about how we see things. And if you are the one that says, man, I'm taking it to my grave, Jeff, I don't care what you're talking about. You don't know what it is. You don't know what you're talking about. Look at all the things that I have. Look at all the things that I've done. All these people that love me. But when you go home, and like I said at the very beginning, and you get into the space and you behind closed doors, and you go silent, or you argue, or you avoid, or you do whatever it is that you're doing, sooner or later, she's going to say enough is enough. If she hasn't said it already, and just really kind of praying that you'll shake it off and come back to your senses. And so what are you going to do? You're going to reach out to me about, hey, Jeff, let's have that conversation, right? A free, conversation, hour call, and let's just see what happens, right? Obviously, I've got some other opportunities for those of you that really like, man, I dig what you're saying, Jeff. Let's sit down, let's have a conversation. Let's look at what something can be put together, because this is a customized package to anything that I put together for folks out here in this space, because it's necessary to understand where you are, help you see where you are, help you accept where you are, admit it, own it. Got to own it first. Can't do anything until you own it. And then we work from there. So anyway, man, it's been a great week. Appreciate everybody. I think the replays are still out there through the weekend. The VIP package might even be on there. I think it's 5 more people for VIP, $47. Read through the description. That's a no-brainer, man. You get I think it's 4 hours of my time, and with your help, and doing some different things around the mirror moment, doing some things around standing in your truth, doing some things around really trying to take a picture of yourself in the mirror and giving you something that you can take the rest of your life to live with, and take it with your spouse and your partner, so y'all can come together, man. You can lean in and you don't blow up some shit like I did. So what are you going to do? The link is still in there. Click the link if that hits you. Share the link if you know somebody that needs to have that. Give them a gift, right? If you're having any problems at all getting that information, access to it, let me know what that looks like, and we can certainly help you to the next step. So, man, I'm excited about what we've done. We're going to come back in July, similar message with some guests and some other things. So be sure take advantage of the VIP in this particular program, man, and then reach out to me, 5 of y'all with some, hey, Jeff, last day I saw you on there, man, and DM me, and then we'll have a conversation. But all I ask is don't play, right? Don't play with me, because I'm not going to play with you. I am not the guy. If you are sick and tired of being sick and tired, and you've been carrying this stuff for a long time, and you're ready to do some work, right, then let's have a conversation. If you're not, then stay in touch. Join the community. From Heartbreak to Healing is still present in the community. We're really looking at how we can serve you from Comeback King Enterprises, right? Because of our mission, which is to help folks understand the power of the comeback in their lives. I just saw a guy on the elevator, man. He says, man, I didn't realize, and this is, I'm excited about having my business, but I didn't realize it was such a hassle to have my own business. What kind of business do you think that guy's going to have? When he says it's such a hassle to own my own business. Our words have power, right? And I said to him, he allowed me to say, I said, so do me a favor, sir. How can we rephrase that? How can we rephrase that to say, I'm grateful for all of the opportunities to grow and what used to feel like hassles, right? I let him use the word hassle, but give him something different. Anyway, woo, man. Hey, look, y'all have a great day. Hit the link on the VIP, 5 folks left on that spot, and then reach out to me, and let's have a conversation about Comeback King Enterprises and just where you are. We'll just have our conversation, man. Cup of coffee and chat, baby. Come on, let's do that thing. I want to thank Comeback King Enterprises and Conversations with Jeff for hosting this, and welcome you guys to be part of a community, 10 million people, changing lives. bringing people together, going from isolation to community, right? From some valleys to victories, one conversation at a time. All right. Hey, Tiffany, thanks for stopping in, me, all your support. I appreciate you. And everybody else has been in and out. And you guys have a great day. And we'll see you soon. What are you going to do? Pass this on to your friends. Take advantage of the VIP. And if not, man, just stay tuned for more to come from us. Either way, we believe in you. We love you. And we want to tell you, let's rise together. Let's take this journey one step at a time, side by side. See you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.